everyone, welcome to episode 1 of the Violet May Handmade podcast. I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Samantha, and we're a mother and daughter from Australia who love all things crafting.
Our podcast will be about crochet, knitting and sewing. So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook and Ravelry, as well as we also have a blog, and we'll put that all on the screen now.
So our crochet journey began in 2020. I decided to go down to the local library and learn how to crochet. Unfortunately, after only 2 lessons, lockdown occurred and so we had to teach ourselves. Caitlin then decided that she would actually like to learn to crochet as well. As we had a lot more time on our hands than we normally would, it was the perfect time to learn how to crochet. I had started a blanket many years ago, and I decided that I would finish it now that I had learnt the basics. So this is the rug behind us that I finished after my grandmother had started me off, and then I finished it. Quite a scrappy project.
So I also took up some knitting at the end of 2021, and then last year for Christmas I knitted everyone a pair of socks, and I also knitted 2 cable knit sweaters. So yeah, that's sort of a little bit about us. On to finished objects.
The first finished object that I'd like to show is my Party Waves cow. It's a pattern that I got out of the Simply Crochet magazine, issue 116, and I just fell in love with it. I really liked the way it looked and the design of the cow. So this is my one that I've made. I only used 4 colours. They used more than 4, but I just really loved the colour combination of these. So I've used an 8-ply 100% wool from Craft, which is a craft store here that sells yarn and other bits and pieces. So it's a good pattern because it's, once you get the hang of it, it's quite easy, and it just uses basic stitches, trebles, doubles, half trebles and double trebles. So yeah, so I was really pleased with the result. So on the top and the bottom you have a crab stitch edge, or a reverse double crochet it's sometimes called, and I used a 3.5mm hook.
So I also have one finished object. So my finished object is a cable car cow, which is a pattern by Nina of Nancy Said. So I had some leftover yarn from a cardigan. It was a limited edition Bendigo Woolly Mills yarn. It was called Alpine 8-ply, and then I mixed it with some Shapier's Wanderlust yarn. This is the Bendigo yarn, the pink. And then, so that is a alpaca, silk, wool and a net mix, which the net gives it the tweedy effect. And then I mixed it with the Shapier's Wanderlust, which is 100% acrylic, and it is in the colorway Chicago. And then, so at the bottom it has a split rib detail, and you sew a button onto that. So I've chosen this fuchsia button, which I feel like it coordinates really well with some of the colours in the cow. So I've been admiring that pattern for a long time. I really love that one. So that's all of our finished projects. But I still had quite a bit of that yarn left over, so I decided that I would make a pair of cable car gloves. So they're just using the exact same yarn and everything. So they also have a split rib detail, which you'll sew a button on and then it can close and give a keyhole. So this is my second glove, so I'm up to where you do the thumb hole. So I'm pretty close on that one actually.
And what was the hook size on that one?
So you use 3 hook sizes. It's a 4mm, a 4.5mm and a 5mm hook. So I love those.
I've been working on a pair of gloves called the Gelato gloves, and this is a pattern by Nancy Said. I really like this pattern. The stitch pattern is really nice and it looks really pretty. So I've finished one complete glove, and as you can see it's got a contrasting row of stitching around at the bottom there, which I think gives a really nice effect. So I finished the first one and then I'm halfway through the second one. So this was made using an 8-ply merino yarn in a purple colourway and a 5mm hook. Now I've previously made one of these gloves before, and to finish it off you just have a flower, so my other pair will have one of these on it as well. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those.
So my next work in progress is a project off of my Make 9, well, our Make 9 board. So the gelato gloves were also a project off our Make 9 board. This year we decided to just choose one pattern designer, which was Nancy said, and chose 9 of her designs to complete within the year. And I think we've tracking pretty well so far. So this one is the single skein necklet. I've been admiring this pattern for such a long time because I feel like in a 4-ply yarn it will be really good for the weather here. It'll be nice and light and not too thick and warm. So the yarn that I am using is Cascade Heritage Waves in the colourway Nightshade. And I just love the colours in it, they're very neat. And for that I am using a 4mm hook.
So my next project is a cardigan that I've been making for my mum for her birthday, which is at the end of March. This is a pattern by Iron Lamb called the Cloud 9 cardigan. I love the bobbles down the bottom. I think they're just a really nice effect. You can make it without the bobbles, but I prefer having the bobbles as well. So it's a top-down cardigan that's worked from the top down, just in basic trebles. I used 2 colours, the Drops Nepal in the Fog and the Forget Me Not Blue. I think the 2 colours work really well together. So I've just got the sleeves to go, and then they will also have the contrasting blue on them as well to match.
So my next work in progress is a knitting one. So this is a pattern from this book here. It's the patterns book 1224. It's all the Bluebell 5-ply yarn. So this is a book that my great-grandmother had. So it's quite old, so I'm not sure whether you can still get it or not. So the pattern that I'm knitting is this. So it's a shawl-collared cardigan in sort of like a textured pattern, and I've just always loved this one, the shawl collar. So the yarn that I'm using is Cascade Yarns Aegean Tweed, and this is in the Shadow colourway. So it's 100% organic wool. So
it's a sport weight, isn't it?
Yes, wool. So it's knitted in pieces and then you seam it together. So this is the back piece, so you start off with the bottom ribbing, and I'm just working up in this texture here. And so yeah, I'm really pleased with that one. So the ribbing is done on 3mm needles, and the main part is done with 3.75mm needles. So
and the final whip that I'm going to show you today is the Gypsy Slouch hat. So it's out of a book called It Girl Crochet. I love hats. I've been eyeing off this pattern for a while, and I finally decided that I would make it. So I'm making it in hot pink with the black contrast. So I've used the same yarn, the Aegean Tweed, because it was a 5-ply pattern in the black and the fuchsia. The only negative thing I would have about this yarn is it snaps. I went to tie off my end and pulled it and it snapped. Yeah, so I'm really loving the hat so far, but it's become a little complex because you have to work into the
crab stitches.
Into the crab stitches, and at this point in time I'm not really sure how to do that, so it's put on the back burner for the moment. But.
And as you can see, in the black part it's going to have some beading, so we've bought gold beads to go on that.
Yeah.
So my final whip is another garment. So this is a crocheted sweater. So I've made this pattern once before in a purple yarn. So this is the Goldenrod sweater, which is a pattern by Handmade. I will try and put in a picture of my purple version. So I'm using the Patterns Baby Dreamtime Merino 4-ply, which is 100% merino wool, and it's just in this gold colorway. And it is just the softest yarn. It is just beautiful, and I can't wait to wear it. So this pattern only comes in 2 sizes. It comes in like 2 size bands. So there's an extra small to medium, and then I'm not really sure what size the next one up is. So it is designed to be quite oversized. So the last version I made, I used the same hook as I used for this one, but I think that my tension was a bit tighter at that point, so this one is turning out bigger than that one. But, I mean, I think it's going to be okay. So I've just split for the underarms. There. So that's all of the whips that we have for today. But we'll show you a couple of plans for upcoming projects. So the first thing that we're going to make is something that we're both making. So this is for our Make 9 board. So we're going to make the Sea Maiden shawl, which is a lace weight shawl pattern. And we both have the same yarn but in different colorways. So it's the Lion brand Summer Nights yarn, which is a lace weight, and it's a 200 gram ball. So I've got the colorway Stargazing. And
I don't know what mine is because it's pancaked.
yes, we don't have the label anymore.
Yeah.
But if I can find it, we'll put it in the show notes. So they're both going to be that, and we're hoping to get started on that soon because I think that being lace weight is going to take us a little bit longer than some of our other projects. So we're going to get a start on that soon. And then your next plan is?
Using the hot pink yarn, I'm going to make a pair of gloves, but Caitlin will have to tell you the pattern because I've forgotten the name of it.
It's the Star Stitch gloves by Nina, as Nancy said, which is another of our Make 9s. We'll put in a picture of our Make 9 if I can work out how to do it. So my second plan is the Elements hat by Nina. So I'm going to use some leftover 100% wool yarn in this chestnut brown colorway, and I'm really looking forward to making that.
And now onto some sewing.
So we'll start off with a few things we've finished fairly recently. So the first one is our mannequin back here. So this is the K8384, which is a simplicity pattern. So I made this one for Mum. So I made the size 12, and I made version C, which is the shortest length, but it's got the short sleeves on it. So we used a cotton that we've had for ages. So as I said, I made size 12, but it's designed to have elastic in the back, but I decided to not put the elastic in, and instead I made 2 waist ties, which I just sewed into 2 seams of the panels. So it's a panelled skirt, a panelled A-line skirt, and I just sewed it into 2 at the back, and so you just tie that on. So it's got the handkerchief hem, and yeah, it's just really beautiful, and it fits you really nicely.
Yeah, it does.
So that is one of the first dressmaking projects that I ever actually made. And then, so I have made 2 dresses for myself so far. So they're both from the same pattern, and that is the N6650, which is a knit dress pattern. So both of them are based on View B, which is the large picture there. So they've both got the tie. So this is a rayon elastane jersey that I bought from Spotlight. So I bought it as a remnant, so I have 2 1-meter pieces. And so I just cut it to the length of the meter piece. So it's got the tie around the waist, and it's obviously a lot shorter length, and then I made the short sleeves, which is on View B. And then my second version I made in a knit fabric that I bought from East Coast Fabrics. So it's this lovely navy floral. So I used the sleeves from View B, View A. Sleeves from View A and the tie from View B. And it's not quite as long as the View B version, but it has got the side slit.
So we'll put a photo in so you can see.
So now we just have two sewing plans each, so your first one.
So I actually haven't made anything for a long time, so this will be interesting. I decided to make the new look 6447, and I'm going to make this one here, the straight one with the cap sleeves. It has an invisible zipper, which I've never done before, so I don't know how that will go. So this is the fabric that I've chosen for my dress. It's 100% cotton, and it's hot pink with just a little tiny pink flower, which I think will be really cute and lovely for the summer.
So my first plan is, it's from this book here, it's the Tilly and the Button to Make It Simple book. So I'm just going to make, not the top, just the pants from the Juno pajamas, but I'm making, so this book has like, I think it's 6 base patterns, and then it has different versions that you can make. So I'm going to be making the short version there. And I'm going to be using this lovely fabric, again from Spotlight. So it's a round spandex. And it's just this very bright sort of floral, which I think that's going to be really, really nice to wear in the summer. So that's my first plan. And your next plan?
I'm going to make from the Butterick 4118, which is this one here.
So it's a vintage one.
So yes, it's vintage like me, and I'm making view A, which is the, I don't know the technical terms for dressmaking, but it's just got the,
it hasn't got any
no
tops.
cuff, yes,
So
that's
it's
right.
just sort of straight.
And I'm just using a purple fleece that I bought, which I think will be rather nice and warm and snuggly in the winter.
So it's an active fleece, so it looks like a normal knit fabric on the outside, but then on the inside, I don't know if you can see, but it's fleecy. So my last sewing plan is from this book here. It's the Sewing Your Perfect Capsule Wardrobe book. So this book again, it has like the base pattern, which is the skirt, but then it has different variations that you can make like from the same pattern. And so I'm making, they call it the sister style. It's the flared mini skirt. There. So I absolutely love this fabric. So it is from East Coast Fabrics. It's a 100% cotton fabric, and it's called Modern Florals on Navy. So that's it from us today.
We hope you enjoyed our first podcast.
Until next time, happy crafting.
Bye.
So that's it from us today.
Was I supposed to say something? What was I supposed to say?
So that's it from us today.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say. What am I supposed to say?
Hope you enjoyed.
Oh yes, okay.